What's going on, guys? I'm Jason. It's Common Crypto Stock, my channel. And tonight, basically, we have a pretty light week as far as unboxing. So we just have the one book. This is the Hunt for, I'm sorry, Return of Wolverine, the J. Scott Campbell Artist Proof Edition. So they only made 300 of these, and they're all signed. So it's not something that I'll be sending into CGC because who wants a green label on this book, right? But there are only 300 of them, and with all the J. Scott Campbell fans we got out there, I had a really good feeling that this was going to jump up real quick, and it did. So they're right now, I think they're going for somewhere between $300 and $400 on eBay, and so like with a lot of what J. Scott Campbell stuff does, people miss out, and then they jump on eBay looking to get it for their collection, and then we see prices jump up. So, being that it's signed, it's not something that I'm going to send to CGC. I may just keep it and throw it in the PC. I'm tempted to flip it and maybe turn it into another key, maybe make it an NYX3 or something. But for right now, I think I'm just going to hold it, just for the sheer fact that if the thing starts to really pick up steam, you get some J. Scott Campbell fans that missed out, and they start hunting for this thing on eBay, then the prices really could shoot up pretty drastically, I would think. All right. So I will have some stuff to unbox tomorrow. I was really hoping that shipment was going to come in today, because I'm trying to just do these unboxings Sunday night and just kind of keep some consistency. But I've got some stuff that I pre-sold, about half of my order, and I don't want to keep those people waiting, especially for like a whole nother week. So opening that on a Sunday just is not going to be an option. I'm going to have to open that tomorrow night, so we'll do a live unboxing, open that up tomorrow night, and then I will be packing all that stuff up. Okay, so what do we got here? I'll be packing all that stuff up, tomorrow night after we go live, and that way everyone can get their books without having to wait forever. Because hey, you do a pre-order, you end up waiting forever. No one likes that, so I try my best to not put anyone in that position. Okay. So with this one, I'm not even going to open it and take it out of the Mylar, but let's take a look at it. Looks really clean. It's got just, the normal bindery tears that you see on every comic you ever really look at. So basically just kind of screening it in the Mylar here. Definitely, I'm calling it a 9.8. And this is the glow-in-the-dark version. I'm not going to turn the lights out and try and make it glow, but it does glow. So our artist proof number here is 162 out of 300. And I might try and get a close-up of that so that you can see it. Oh no, we're locked in portrait. But it's not on your phone. Plug that back in. Jeez, right? Sorry, guys. Horrible as well. Fun stuff. God, I almost feel like, no. Come on. Take that. Wow. If it's not one thing, it's another with the live streams, huh? Jeez. Man, the technical difficulties are real. All right, so let's get a close-up of this. So we can see artist proof number 162 there. Let's see if I can get this to show up for you. There. If that'll focus, I don't know. Artist proof 162 of 300. And that's the book there. Yeah, the lighting is not the best on this. Wow. Okay, we got some Jesus. Okay, look, this is in. This is in. Your phone is dead, so I can't use that for chat. Man. Dude. It sure is tough to get these damn live chats going with without technical difficulties, man. So I don't even know where you guys were at. ASDF, what's up, brother? Eric, what's going on? Uncanny Kyle Waka, nice to see you. All right, so you guys at least saw the hunt for the Return of Wolverine book. Man, I'm sorry. It's like the technical difficulties are real now with my iPhone. If it's not one thing, it's another. So I started to talk about CGC and them going after CBCS and PGX with their crossover services. Now everyone kind of is coming back and saying, hey, CGC's, they're trying to put everyone out of business, you know, this, that, and the other thing. And maybe they are, maybe they're not. I actually don't even think they really care about PGX or CBCS. I mean, they're just doing their own thing at this point. So I kind of was getting into the grading standards, okay? So all three comic companies are going by their own standards. So if PGX grades a book a 7.5 and you crack that book and you send it to CGC and they grade it a 5.5, who's right and who's wrong? Well, they're both right because they're both grading to their own standard. Same with CBCS. You know, they kind of publicate their standards, but it's all really vague. So the thing is, all three grading companies will grade books differently, and they're all correct in their own eye. Now the problem is, CGC has got about 90% of the market share. So people are already screaming like, you know, CGC, we don't need a monopoly. You know, we need other competition within the comic grading community. Well, guess what? We already have a monopoly. CGC is a monopoly. They have 90% of the market share. That's why when people look at, you know, it's hard to sell a CBCS book. You're going to sell it for 10% less, and it's going to take a little bit longer to sell than if it was a CGC. PGX books are an entirely different animal. When someone looks at a PGX book, they almost don't even care what PGX grades it. They're going to look at it and go, okay, this is a PGX 7.5. If I crack it and send it to CGC, what are they going to grade it as? And they have to start running the numbers through their head. They go, you know what, CGC would probably grade this a 5.5. So what's a CGC 5.5 worth? And then, you know, they backwards pedal how much they think the book is worth or how much they want to pay for it based upon what they think CGC is going to grade it as. Because there's just not enough PGX books out there to have a market for PGX books. You know, everyone says, well, they just sell for less, they sell for less. Yeah, they sell for less, but the difference in as far as percentage of a CGC grade is going to depend on the value of the book, and the higher the grade, then the less of the percentage. So like an example, say you have an Amazing Spider-Man 300, CGC 9.8, that book is going for $2,200. But a CGC 9.4 is going to go for $500, $550, you know, probably in that range. So if you have a PGX 9.8, someone's going to look at that and go, what is CGC going to grade this? Are they going to grade it a 9.4? You know, so if someone makes the determination that the PGX 9.8 would be a CGC 9.4, then they're going to want to offer probably $500 for that book. So of a $2,200 or $2,300 book, you're talking, you know, taking a 75% hit. That is a big hit. You know, now if it's a lower grade book, say it's an Amazing 300 and it's a 5.0, well, you know, someone will go, well, what's CGC going to grade this? Would they grade it a 4.5? That's not going to be as big of a difference, you know, in the value or what someone's going to offer for that book. So these are other things you got to take into consideration. Now, you guys know I'm a big fan of independent comic companies, Valiant. I like what Scout Comics is doing. Red 5, Source Point. There's others as well. And there's great stuff coming out of these little companies. And I like the little company to give Marvel and DC, and even Valiant is still in the, they're a big enough company to where they're not a small press anymore. Give those companies a run for the money. Get some good stories out there, I'm that type of guy that's going to, root for the underdog. So if I'm going to root for the underdog in PGX and CBCS, then my advice to them is you need to try and tie your grading standards as close to CGC as possible. You can't beat them, so you have to join them, as far as your grading standards. Try and, PGX, they're less money and they're the fastest, okay? So that's what they have going for them. So if they could get their grading standards to be more consistent and more in line with what CGC does, that's going to give them their best fighting chance. That's going to give them their best fighting chance of someone to say, hey, you know what? The new PGX, I know they're getting ready to change their labels. Hey, change your label, change your case, and come out with your new grading standards. You know what? Just do it. Just figure out a way to tighten up your grading, get it as close as possible to CGC, and let these, other YouTubers start cracking PGX books, in the future, and say, hey, you know what? I'm cracking books, and out of the 10 books I cracked, 7 of them came back the same grade. 1 came back, a lower grade, and 2 came back a higher grade from CGC. Then people be like, dang, okay, well, now the PGX books are going to be worth the same as CGC. That's the only way you're going to be able to compete with them, is to be able to get your grading standards as close as possible to CGC. CBCS is pretty much kind of very close to being there within their modern grades and within their higher grade modern books. A CBCS 9.8 is probably very, very close to a CGC 9.8. The difference would be it's going to sell for a little bit less, and it's going to take a little bit longer to sell it. Of the books that I'm selling a lot of slab books, but I'm only going to use CGC at this point because I can't give myself that disadvantage compared to other sellers of trying to sell PGX or CBCS. CGC is what people want, so I need to give them what they want. But, that doesn't mean I'm not rooting for these other companies to do good. I really wish CGC would do an authenticated signature. I would send this book to them in a heartbeat if they would put this in an authenticated signature label. I'm not going to have them put this book in a green label and say, Sharpie on front cover. That's ridiculous, So, hey, if another company can give them some competition and make them to start changing their ways, great. PGX is going to give you the option to put grader's notes on the back of the books, on the back of the label. That is fantastic. That is a move in the right direction. They're charging you $5 to do it. Not really a big fan of that. I think it should just be included. They should just do it. But that's a move in the right direction. I really love what Beckett Grading Company has done with cards with the subgrades. Beckett just bought CBCS, but it doesn't really seem like they've done anything with them yet other than just let them do business as usual, which is not good enough. CBCS is taking way too long on their submissions. I sent them 3 or 4 books a long time ago, even before I had the YouTube channel. It took forever. It took so dang long. I was frustrated. I called them up multiple times. It's like, guys, we're going on 6-7 months for these books. This is crazy. CGC right now is probably 6 to 8 weeks, somewhere in there, and that's not bad. PGX is probably 5 weeks. That's great. I've gotten some books back from CGC in 6 weeks before. The Monster CGC submission is finally boxed up tonight. I'm putting it in the mail tomorrow. 175 books. Dude, it's going to be freaking crazy. I'm sending some of them as pre-screen, some of them as just regular grading, and what that's going to do is break them up so that I'm not going to get all of them back at one time, because that would be like a feature-length movie unboxing 175 CGC books. So I'm happy to have that out in the mail. I hope that maybe some people from CBCS and PGX end up hearing this video. man, I wish them all the best, but their only way to possibly survive at this point is to try and just mirror your grading standards to CGC. That's what you have to do. You can't beat them, join them as far as the grading standards. Then try and improve the service. Get faster, the cases, CGC probably already has the best cases. I don't know if you want to try and have a better case than them, because it'd probably start throwing the cost way up. But, get the turnaround times good. Make sure your cases don't open easily. A big problem with PGX cases is they were really easy to open. So for people that are going to try and do shady things and try and switch books out and stuff, that's not good, and that might make people a little bit scared. Oh, this case hasn't been opened before. So I know PGX is getting ready to change their cases. Please make those cases bulletproof as far as trying to reopen them. Make them so that they're just going to crack up and be obvious that they've been opened. Also the PGX cases have got on the sides here little kind of, it's not a defect, but let's just call it a defect. From it looks like the cases were all together and they had to snap them apart, and just where the plastic comes apart. So on your new cases, make sure you get rid of that, and just make those cases feel really solid. Make sure the plastic is clear. I've never owned any PGX books, so I can't really give a whole lot of input as far as what I think they should do with the cases. I definitely would say put the grader notes on the back of every label. Don't charge for it. Just do it. Figure out a way. It can't cost that much money. Just do that. Be the one who does that. But the main thing that they need to do is they need to figure out a way to tighten up their grading and try and mimic CGC as much as possible. And a perfect time to do it would be, hey, we have a new label, we have a new case, and we have new grading standards. And, they're not going to want to say, hey, we're trying to match CGC. That wouldn't look good. But maybe they could say, we've got new grading standards to try and make us one of the strictest graders within the industry. Something like that would sound good, and then people would eventually start cracking them and sending them and seeing that, hey, you know what, they're just as strict as CGC or slightly stricter. If they could get that type of reputation and being able to catch, the restorations that sometimes had slipped through in the past, things like, color touch and trimmings that they missed in the early days that really got them a bad rep, hey, maybe they have a fighting chance. So I would love to see that type of stuff happen. Yeah, Eric, see, charging for grader notes, I agree. It's like, okay, I don't know what PGX charges for a book, but say they charge $13. And if they're going to charge you $5 for grader notes, you're up to $18. Well, CGC charges $20, and you can get discounts from there. So it's like now you're right up to the same price as before. Man, this thing is still locked in orientation. That's stupid. God, why is the camera doing that, man? So dumb. So anyway, man, the technical difficulties are real, I guess. But anyway, tomorrow night, it's probably going to be around the same time. Going to open up another box of some stuff that I ordered up that I pre-sold about half of it. So, I can't wait till next Sunday. I want those people to get their books. Don't want to keep them waiting. So we'll open that up tomorrow night, and then we will, I'll be up late boxing that stuff up and making sure people get their books. But anyway, so hey, I hope that some people from at least PGX, CBCS, they're probably not going to do anything. But PGX is the company that really needs to step up their game. I know they're changing their case, change your labels, throw the grader notes on there for free, make the cases more solid to where they can't be tampered with, tighten up your grading standards. Now is the perfect time to do it. It really is. Tighten up the grading standards. The other thing that I would love to see is subgrades. Why don't you have a subgrade for like wrap, centering, things like that. People would love that. You see all the time, even like, well, here's the CGC 9.8, And, you know, look at the wrap. It's you know, a 1/4 inch over. So those are type of things that, like, if I see that and I'm looking to spend big money on a 9.8 book, I'm surely not going to get one with a bad wrap or bad centering or anything like that. It's like you're shelling out top of the line, you know, prices, big bucks. You're not going to want to buy a book like that. And it would be fantastic to see a grading company try to quantify things like centering and wrap. You know, that's people are going to really love that if you could. Hey, this is a 9.8 with 90% perfect centering and a 98% perfect wrap. You know, that's just 2 more little subgrades that would make people crazy to try and get the best book they can. You know, that would be a fantastic idea for one of the grading companies to do. But anyway, guys, going to yeah, that's right, the J standard. Dude, I wish I had the money to start my own grading company, because I would seriously, grader notes would be on every single slab. There's no option. That's going to happen. I would also introduce a little bit of artificial intelligence. And what I would do is every single book that we graded, I would take a picture of it, you know, multiple pictures of it, but at least one of the front and back, and be like, hey, for every, you know, say it's a New Mutants 98, for every New Mutants 98 that we have graded, you know, here's all the 9.8s, pictures, here's all the 9.6s, here's all the 9.4s. And then I would get it to a point where I'd have some artificial intelligence start to grade the comics to a point. I mean, you'd obviously have to give it to a grader to make the final determination, but if you can introduce some artificial intelligence to help kind of eliminate some of the human aspect of it, dude, that is the way to go. I mean, have a book, have the computer scan it, you know, run it through, you know, an algorithm, and match it up to other graded pictures and start finding defects. And how awesome would it say is that the computer says, hey, this is a 75% chance this book is a 9.8, 25% chance it's a 9.6. Hand it off to the grader, let the grader make the final determination. And dude, that would be the grading company of the future. I mean, straight up, that's what I would do. But anyway, guys, so tomorrow night, probably about the same time, just kind of depending on when I get out of work, so on and so forth, we'll have another little unboxing there. I'll try and keep it a little bit of a surprise. It's going to be an independent book. It's going to be something that's relatively hot, and half of them have been pre-sold already, so we got to get those out. Guys, thanks for watching, taking the time on your Sunday night. I know for some of you it's late night back east, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys. What is it doing?